Hi you guys, this is Rachel Kirkland, the Modern Shaman. Thanks for being with me for another YouTube Q&A video this week. If you're new to the channel, I always suggest you go check out my website, which is themodernshaman.net. There's a lot of useful resources there if you're into this type of thing and on your ascension path. Also, I want to say we're still in the month of November, and if you are on my newsletter, I have a free newsletter that you can subscribe to on my website. On that contact page, you can subscribe. If you're a part of that newsletter, you already know this, but the month of November, I offer those extreme Black Friday deals all month. That's still going on. I've had a few of you reach out to me and ask, like, when is the end of that? It goes all through the month of November. So those are extreme, like up to 50% off of the discounted sessions or discounted bundles of sessions. So you can buy a big group and share them with your loved ones and friends or for yourself. Great Christmas presents. I have a lot of people that buy the bundles and then they like give them out to people for Christmas gifts. Also, it's highly discounted. There's like $1,000 off the teaching programs and that platform for spiritual entrepreneurship, as well as the masterclass for the sacred intuitive arts. So all that being said, make sure if you are interested in that, now is a great time to take advantage of those discounts. It's just a way that I say, I love you guys, and give you the deal, give you a way to have accessible reach of things that maybe you've been reaching for a while. So I hope that you take advantage of that. All right, let's get on to the question for today. This one says, "Hi Rachel, I love your channel. I've watched you for years and only recently decided to send in a question." I love that. You know, honestly, your questions, this format and you sending in the questions, that's what I love about it, because that's the feedback energy that I get. Otherwise, I'm just like a single person sitting in front of a camera taking a video, you know what I mean? It's very one-sided. But when y'all send in your questions, it feels like the energy feeds back and forth and back and forth. So I love the way that we set this platform up like that. All right. She said, "I have sought happiness my whole life, and I truly believe a good life is simply a happy life. Why is it though, the older I get, the less happy or joyful or fun I feel? I used to be so much fun. Now I sort of feel tame and bland. Life is good, honestly, but I always feel like maybe I'm missing something. Any advice would be good on this topic." I don't think anyone's sent in a question about happiness. I think you're the first one of all these years I've been doing this YouTube channel. So that's great. Okay. Well, let me tell you what. The first thing I want to say about this and our topic of happiness is don't judge yourself harshly on the expectations that have been set up for us in our cultures and society, because most of that is based on misinformation from the media. It's based on marketing ploy and strategy of how to get you to buy certain products. So a lot of the visual images that we see, that we are literally indoctrinated with, right? You know how we're just bombarded with visual images. It's just part of living a human life. There's billboards everywhere. There's TV everywhere. There's commercials for things. There's, it's even auditory, right? There's commercials and music in between. It's just everywhere. And they're all showing you people having a great time with this product, or while they're wearing these clothes, or while they're doing these activities at this bar, at this restaurant, when they're at this, theme park. It's all based on getting you to believe that if you go there, if you do that, if you have my thing, you'll be happy. And so when we're young, this is just implanted into our brains, unfortunately. So you gotta kind of strip that out when you mature and get older and be okay with that. Okay, so part of your question is like, I feel like I'm not fun anymore. Everybody goes through that when they mature, right? Because your idea and understanding of fun and happiness shifts And this is good. This is the right thing. That means you're maturing. This is moving beyond the childish understanding of a short-term pleasure that equates to what we identify or define as happiness. Okay? When you're young, or I will say immature, because you can have this view no matter how old you are, right? We can go through a midlife crisis and still be in this state of mind and this chemical addiction to the dopamines. But essentially, it's these short-term, it's that dopamine kick. It's a short-term excitement or celebration energy. When you're a kid, it's the birthday parties, it's the theme park, it's looking forward to Christmas presents, it's short achievements, winning the trophy, being named the MVP. It's these achievement-based or celebration-based, a sense of success that's short-term pleasures, these bursts. And energetically, if we're talking about it on an energy level, what this does to our energy body is it gives us like jumper cables put on our battery system, okay? So it's a short-term charge, but it's a big punch, right? It's like boom, and we are jumped up and we're psyched up, and this is all the stuff where you're at the party and you're drinking and you're like, woo! Everybody's at the concert. It's the crazy and kind of energy that is high intensity, but is unsustainable, and it comes down like a heavy sugar rush, right? Or the day after, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungover. There's this energy of the drop, and it's not just the crap you put in your system that night before if you're partying like crazy. It's the energy drop and the hormone drop of that heightened energetic state to a calmer or a lower or a level. It may not even be a valley experience, it may just be level, but there's such extremes in the polarity of those experiences that it shocks the system, that it's hard on the system to recalibrate. And that's just a base way of explaining it. When we train ourselves, and pretty much a lot of societies that we live in this world around train and teach and keep up that story of happiness. It's short-term pleasure based, and it's kind of those dopamine kicks of the hormones. Now, this is why I said don't judge yourself as not fun if you're not having those experiences anymore. Honey, you just grew up. And that's a good thing, okay? And you're shifting into the variances, the subtleties, the nuances of happiness. And those are beautiful, and they spread out. And so when you experience the shift of maturity, the second thing that I'll say is that you experience a shift in your physical experience of pleasure also. And this is where it also engages the hormones. You can't talk about these things as separate things. It's not just philosophical, it's not just emotional. It's physical as well, because our physiological response is chemical. This is the way our neurology and our brain understands happiness. This is the way we literally tell ourselves or think, I am happy, I am fun, this is enjoyable. And so that inner monologue happens when certain things are biologically happening in our body, and certain chemicals are released in our body. So when we are maturing in the nuances of happiness, this is when we get those softer chemical releases. When oxytocin, right? Oxytocin is that love, what they call the love hormone, but it's compassionate, it's tender. We can get this from our animals. We can get this from holding a baby. We can get this from hugging friends. This is connection that feels deep and sincere. And it's not a heightened energetic charge. It's a deeper energetic charge or wave. I'm showing the little frequency wave here in my vision. That's what I'm seeing. So it's deeper. And when we experience it, it can be sustained longer, okay? And this doesn't mean that you're not fun and fun-loving, But essentially, your experience of pleasure and of happiness doesn't have such peaks and troughs. It's not so extreme. And so the energetic charge is more sustainable long term. And it kind of gives you that sensation that all is well. Okay? When you change also into kind of holistic or a vibrant style of life, these are the endorphins that come in. These chemicals also translate as happy. And this is for having a life that feels healthy to you. These are exercising, eating well. This is that vitality feeling. So when we're doing things that register as happy here, it is kind of activity based, but it's like when we're in the zone and we feel really good in that zone. Essentially, it's a meditative state, and these chemicals get released as a sense of the thriving life, the life force that feels like it's doing good. I'm living a healthy, vibrant, vital life. We're not stagnant. We're not sitting around watching the TV all the time, eating junk food. It's like I'm doing good on the things that feel good in my body, and tell my body that it's healthy, that it's vital, that it's feeling strong, right? Now, when we pass through that phase of life, again, there's maturing here that says, okay, I can't just eat junk all the time. I don't feel good. My body doesn't feel happy like that. It may be a momentary happiness of, yeah, I want that piece of pie, but that little dopamine kick doesn't last as long as the sustained sense of endorphins that say, I feel healthy and I'm getting all this oxygen in my lungs every time I run and breathe deeply. And these are that type of chemical release that translates into happiness. Now, that last one, that serotonin, when I think of the happy chemicals, that's also kind of the final phase of maturity in happiness, which is the chemical that basically stabilizes. It's a stabilizer. It just says like, all is well. This is the peace hormone. But again, these are the nuances and the subtleties of how we understand happiness. But as you can see, if you're getting a lot of peace and stability in your life at a youthful, immature age, where you're wanting to go through a lot of contrasts because you're wanting a lot of growth, right? It's like that trampoline phase. You're just growing a lot when you're young. So you're experiencing a lot of drama, right? There's heartache and it's always extreme, and you know, the way people treat you and they turn around and just like, oh, it's just real back and forth. We need that sense of serotonin to stabilize us in our youth, especially if we've had any sort of trauma, or we haven't felt safe and we haven't felt stable in our household, if it's abusive or toxic there. But really, we don't register that as happiness often when we're young, because we don't have that maturity just within our cognitive development or self-awareness. Now, some people do. I'm just, being general here in my statements, but most of the time, we don't realize until we've matured through life that stability is something that truly makes us happy, where it is that chemical balancing aspect to our lives that makes us feel like there's not a lot of chaos that we're having to constantly clear and deal with and discharge from the energetic residue. And so it's a difference in maturity. Mama, that's what I'm saying. All right, you're maturing. It's good. Let your perspective of happiness broaden and look for the nuances and the subtleties in those different hormonal releases that are all good. All right, and I'm not saying you go through one at each point in your life. We all have all of them at different points in our life, but the respect and appreciation and validation for the different ones, and viewing that as fun, and that as exciting even, and that as wholeheartedly happy. That perspective change is good. And I encourage you to keep on that encouragement path and not judging your experience of happiness. The last thing I want to say on this topic is gratitude and appreciation. There's nothing new here. Everybody talks about this. And I'm going to talk about it too, because that's the fastest, most efficient way to stay in a state of happiness. Whenever I feel depressed, or I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just another thing, or man, I'm frustrated with this person or this experience or this situation, if I sit for just a moment and give gratitude, if I remember what I like about that person, I list out things I like about that person, I tell myself things I like about this experience or this location or this job or this event, it shifts the awareness from the glass half empty to the glass half full. And this will literally then, because you're shifting the awareness in the brain, shift that pituitary gland, that pineal gland. It will start releasing chemicals and hormones that reflect that gratitude and appreciation, which will translate to the happy vibe, the happy tone, the happy feels, the happy energy and emotions, and physical reaction in the body. So it's simple, but that would be my advice. Think about what you're grateful for and celebrate it and mean it. Just sit and say thank you. Yeah. I am thankful for you. When I said that, when I said sit and say thank you, it was like I could echo it into my chest. So this is me sitting, and this is me saying thank you. I am deeply grateful for you all, and for every single eye that's watching me right now. Blessings.